Okay, here we go. Hello, everyone. They're popping in now. I'll give it like a minute.
Sure.
Okay, I'm going to get started. All right. Hello, everyone. Good evening. I'm Roxanne. This is Everything About Hallmark. And my guest is Dara of Dear Hallmark. And I am so excited because I have been watching your podcast and listening because you do put it up on YouTube as well. And I find you hilarious and informative. I go to you for I'm like, should I watch that movie or not? Because you're very knowledgeable. So
Well,
I'm
thank you. I
excited
appreciate
to
that.
have you here. All right.
I'm excited
So
to be
go ahead. I'm
here.
sorry.
No, I was just saying I'm excited to be here. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So, how about you tell us how you got started? Like, why did you even start the whole podcast? I love the name, by the way.
Thank you. So I've always loved Hallmark Channel movies, mostly Christmas movies,
Yeah.
but I never got into the other seasons in depth until this year. However, what happened last year with the world,
Yes.
I was able to watch them for the first time uninterrupted with no responsibilities because simultaneously while that was happening, I also tore my Achilles. So I was
Oh,
up in the
no.
bed anyway, recovering, right? So, and I thought, I'm like, I wonder if anyone reviews these movies. And since last year was the first time I could actually watch the Countdown to Christmas movies as they aired, because normally I would be hustling and bustling with my church's Christmas production because I'm on the dance team for that. And we
Oh,
would always do a big number or some type of big production or play that would be 3 or 4 dances that I would be helping to run rehearsals and also dancing in. So I would be so wrapped up in that I wouldn't have time to watch them as they air. So I said, I now have the opportunity to watch them as they air. I think I'm going to review them while they come on. And so I think literally this Saturday marks the 1-year anniversary that I posted my first video on YouTube. And that was kind of how it got started. And it kind of took off because Tyler Hines found my review of It Was Always You and posted it in his stories. And that was the moment for the first time I experienced being short of breath.
oh my goodness. What an honor.
I literally was taken aback. I said, this can't be the Tyler of Hines. That is the Tyler of Hines.
Right.
And so from there, that's how the podcast portion started. So the YouTube covers all of the new release movies, and the podcast covers what I call the Hallmark histories or the Hallmark library, as
Okay.
I'm watching all of the backlog of their movies. So yeah,
Yes.
that's kind of the hopefully the microwave version. I hope it didn't take too long.
No, I mean, that's really exciting. Are you, by any chance, I know you're going to Christmas Con. Are you going to see Tyler?
He is numero uno on my list.
Okay.
Absolutely. I
And
just want to tell him thank you.
they say that he is very attentive, just like Erin was. She's extremely attentive, and they
Yeah.
spend time with you and they talk. That's why their line takes forever, but it is like so worth it. That's
Oh, yeah.
exciting.
I'm prepared. I'm
Wow.
prepared to be there for the entire 8 hours or 6
Mhm.
hours. If I have to stand in line, I just need to tell him thank you in person. That's
I
my goal.
love that. And I bet you he'll
Mhm.
remember you because he's really good like that. He has
Yeah.
that kind of pays attention to detail. So I'm excited for you. We'll have to get back together and you'll have to tell me how it went
Yes. Yes, indeed.
because I'll be there on Sunday.
Yes.
Now,
Awesome.
I have another question. I was thinking about this today with your schedule and your work. How long, like how many hours a week do you dedicate to doing like your reviews?
I don't. I'm very impulsive and spontaneous, and I fly by the seat of my pants. So if I watch a movie and I feel it in my soul, I just whip out my phone, and all of my videos are one take. I try not to edit unless I randomly sneeze or
Mhm.
cough, or
Mhm.
if there's like an ambulance or something. That's the only time that I edit. But more times than not, I just do a one take Sally I call it one take Sally, a one take Sally of my thoughts, and then just kind of put it out there, and it takes like 10 to 15 minutes. So
See, now I love that. And I think that might be why I love watching you because I feel like it's a conversation that you're having with me. And
yeah.
it's not silly, it's not like too serious. It's just like you say what you have to say. You're very detailed, and then when I die laughing some of the stuff that you come up with. I'm like, oh my gosh, she's saying what I'm thinking, but you say it like in the best way ever, like your own voice. You know how a writer has their voice, right? Well, it
Yeah.
is definitely coming out in your reviews. I love it, love it, love it, love it.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. That was my goal too. Even with the name Dear Hallmark, I just
Yeah.
wanted it to be my love letter to Hallmark because I love Hallmark so much. And I wanted to find and create a community of people who also love Hallmark movies like I do. So that was my goal. So thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. I feel the same exact way. So I'm so happy we stumbled upon each other.
Yes.
Now, because you are paying attention to so much detail, I wanted to talk about some of the changes that some of us are seeing. Do you see any changes in like their everyday movies? Not necessarily yet the Christmas movies, but
Sure.
more about the everyday movies. What do you think?
I do. The first thing that came to mind, even when you told me that was what we were going to talk about.
Yes.
I'm seeing more mid-movie kisses
I
than
know. Yeah.
than normal.
Yes.
And it takes me by surprise because of course my instinct is like, surely there's going to be an eagle or a drink spilled or
Yes.
a phone call that will interrupt the moment. And then they keep going and I'm like, oh my gosh, like it takes me by surprise. So that's the biggest change in my opinion that I've seen. But I've also seen way more diversity in casting with
Yes.
their movies in terms of both ethnicity, but also in age. They're bringing in a lot of younger actors, and I noticed that more prevalently in one of their summer nights movies, Love for Real. That whole cast, we had Corbin Bleu, Caramelina White, the young lady who played, I believe her name was Brianna, the lead. She's Latina. Tatiana Tully, who's Polynesian, and then Scott Michael Foster. Like that whole cast, not only are they young, but they're ethnically diverse as well. And that was something that I was seeing a lot of change in. And even the storylines as well. I noticed it in Love Strikes Twice, which was their and I'm going to use fall harvesting because
I get you.
One leaf throughout this whole fall harvest.
I know. Everybody said, my friend called me up and said, where were the pumpkins? Where's autumn? What happened?
I was deprived and upset, but I'm okay now because Christmas is coming. But in Love Strikes Twice, the young Katie Finley's character and the mom had a moment on the couch where the mom actually said how she doesn't believe in the one, which is something that Hallmark perpetuates a lot in their older movies of like finding your soulmate and finding the one. But yet she's like, no, love is a choice. Love is a day-to-day decision where you choose to love that person. And I thought that was so modern and refreshing and different for Hallmark to say it. And in terms of, like I was saying, like I just said, how they normally perpetuate like the soulmate kind of finding the one in their movies. What do you think? Do you think that you've seen, are there any changes that you've seen?
Oh, I do see. I was going to mention the kiss because not often do we. I remember in the Christmas card, which is like my favorite from 2006.
Yeah.
There was a mid kiss, like they fell on top of each other accidentally, and then there was this kiss, and then there's a kiss again, and that's wonderful, and it was appropriate. But you don't get that much, and I like though. For the life of me, it went right out of my head, and it has the word reins in it, where they were once married and then they got a divorce.
Taking the reins.
That's it, taking the reins. Yep. And they have a kiss in early on, but they were once married. And I'm like, what? That's not a Hallmark kiss either. That's like quite steamy. Like,
I said, okay, they need a moment.
Yes, yes, I know. So I do see that, but I love the diversity. I know it upsets some people. Some people were saying, oh, I couldn't understand with his so-and-so's accent, or why isn't it family friendly? And I was very hurt by when people were saying that, because it is family friendly. Everybody's family looks different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not everyone's family is the same.
Yeah.
And I like that they're bringing that about. Especially, I expect to see that more in the Christmas movies.
Yes. And I'm excited about that. Hopefully we get some more information so that we can see if that will be a thing, because we only know about, I think, 12 or 13 out of the 40 movies that they're going to be bringing us this season.
I'm wondering if they're still trying to film them and it's like down to the wire because they could do them like in 2 weeks, but then they have to do all the editing. So I'm curious
Right.
myself. Yes,
And I
yes.
do know there was an impeding strike from the IATSE for the crew, and I think maybe that was probably something that was holding Hallmark up. I'm not sure, but I'm very curious to see what the rest of the Christmas slate holds for us this season.
Yes. So speaking of Christmas, do you have a favorite Christmas movie from Hallmark?
Without a doubt, no questions asked, The Mistletoe Promise, featuring
Oh,
Luke McFarlane and Jamie King. It is my heart and my soul. And first of all, that's one of my favorite Christmas books. The book is incredibly different from the movie. I just want to put that out there. If anyone
okay.
wants to read the book, it is more dark and a tad depressing.
Aw.
There are some triggers of domestic abuse
Oh,
within the book that I just want to let people know about. But there's still such a warmth and a love that just emanates from the pages that I gobbled that thing up in 2 days. So
oh.
I love the book. The movie was perfect. Everything about I wouldn't change a thing about that movie. It just gives me all the Christmas bubbles and feels on the inside. So
Do you know what I loved about it is how authentic the storyline was? Like it was believable and real that it could happen. Because sometimes they spend a weekend together and they're suddenly in love, especially with the prince and princess. And I like that. My sister loves the princess and prince
mhm.
movies, and there's a place for that. But that was like a real story, like that. Like I
Yeah,
could imagine that really happening. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
That's why I enjoyed it, and it was like a I don't know. It felt like it was a long period of time. I mean, not just a weekend, just not a week, you know,
right, right.
it had, I don't know, not everything was all cutesy, but it still had all of the good feelings of Christmas. Like
Yes,
you go to make the snowman, the hot chocolate, the sleigh, all of that good stuff. Yes.
yes,
Yes.
yes, yes. I think it brought an element of reality that, like, even her saying, "Oh, you're not normal at all," like just kind of those little lines and quips that she
Yeah.
used. It
Yeah.
brought an element of reality to the movie that I think worked perfectly.
Yes, it was. It was very well written, and of course, I mean, those 2, they're phenomenal actors, like, they're my
Yes,
I love them. I love them.
yes.
Yeah.
Did you see the preview for Luke McFarlane's new Christmas movie for this year?
No, no.
It's called Christmas in My Heart, and it premieres on Hallmark Movies and Mysteries on
Okay,
I believe it's this Saturday. If it's not this Saturday at 10, it's next Saturday at 10.
okay.
And this is the first time I'm seeing him opposite a black woman, and he has a black daughter. And he's a country music star, and his daughter is taking violin lessons, and he's trying to help his daughter for this holiday concert. So he goes to a violin teacher who ends up being the woman, the leading lady. And then, of course, they fall in love throughout the
Oh,
course of the movie.
okay, but wait, that sounds amazing. Does
Yeah,
I wonder if he really does, like, play music or sing or something? Because do you remember
he
the one
does.
about the lodge where his fiancée, she played the piano, like, she was a very famous pianist, and he used to do music too, and then they get
Yes.
yes,
Chateau Christmas. He really
yes,
does play the cello. There's a video of him on
okay.
Instagram playing the cello. He's a classically trained cellist. Yep.
So many of these actors are like Jen Lilly can sing. I mean, there are so many of
Mhm.
them either play an instrument or sing, except our lovely, our very lovely Chris McNally. He doesn't sing, but I think he does play guitar. But that's okay. He does many other things that are amazing.
Yeah.
So tell me about. I know you're thrilled about When Hope Calls. Tell me what you think about this.
I screamed when I saw the announcement
Okay.
because I have been begging for this show to get a second season. I watched it on Hallmark Movies Now last summer. It was one of the first shows that was kind of my escape during everything that was happening last year. And I binged it in probably like a week. And I said I wanted more. And Hallmark said, nope, not right now. So I said, okay, then I'm just going to keep rewatching these episodes. And then I wake up one day, get on Instagram, and see the post that it's coming back, and I'm all systems go. I cannot wait to see what they do with this show. I do know that one of the sisters, I believe it's Jocelyn Houdon's character. I don't
Yes.
believe she'll be on. I think
Mhm.
you said this because of scheduling conflicts.
Yes.
But it does kind of make sense though, because I know the way her story ended on season 1. She was leaving to go somewhere. I forget exactly why she was leaving. So it makes sense that she's not coming back in a story sense. Like it's believable, but I'm going to miss her dynamic with Chuck because that was one of my favorite
They had
storylines.
good chemistry.
Such good chemistry.
Well,
Oh man.
he's still on, right? His character is
Yes,
still there.
he's so I don't want to see him with no one else though. If I'm selfishly, I don't want to see him with anybody else. I really want to see him with Grace.
I understand that. We get
Mhm.
that. We all get that. We felt that in When Calls the Heart, especially when Jack died. Like I was like, how am I going to watch this show? But I have to tell you, I mean, they have fantastic writing, and I'm very happy where it is right now. But that doesn't mean the door can't be open for her to come back. I think they weren't sure, things are up in the air, and she's already made a commitment to something. So I
Right.
mean, they're lovely about that. Like Brian Bird is amazing, and he always brings back, people. I remember in an interview where they were asking, is Lori coming back? And he said he would always love if Lori came back, but that was
Mhm.
out of his hands. And then, of course, now when Hope Calls is over on the other channel with Bill
Mhm.
Abbott, and they all have a relationship, and she was able to go over there, which is good for them,
Yep.
and bring other characters like her son too. So
Yeah.
I'm sure it's going to be fun. Now, I don't get friendly TV, so I won't be able to see it unless would I have to purchase it, right? Is that how you're
Yeah,
getting it?
it's a
Yeah.
it's a streaming subscription you can get. It's only like it's $5 to $9 a month,
Oh,
depending, and it all depends on the DVR amount that you want. So if you want to store your movies that you record for 3, 6, or 9 months, that
uh-huh.
determines the amount of your subscription. But I
Oh,
love it,
wow.
and it's simple, and it's family friendly TV, which is why it's called friendly TV. I love it.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Hmm.
So now the countdown for Christmas is starting. Do
Yes.
you have like a wish list? Is there something you're wishing for, or you want to see? Or of course, the one you just told us, I know, but like something you're hoping to see in the movies, or
So I'll start with the ones that they've already told us or teased us about.
Mhm.
Tamara Mori's and Paul Campbell's movie, The Santa Stakeout,
Love
looks
him.
super fun. He's one of
Mhm.
my favorites. I call him
Love
my
him.
cousin in my head. I love him so much.
I love him, and he plays the best parts. He's
Yes.
great. Yes.
I love that he always brings an element of humor with every
Yes.
character that he plays. He's like our resident comedian, our resident funny guy, and I
Yes.
appreciate him for it. So that movie I'm really excited about. The one that Tyler Hynes and Bethany Joy Lenz that they're doing together. I I mean, just 5 crowns, gold medals, Oscars, Tonys, Emmys. Just give it all to them now because
Okay.
I think it's going to be fantastic.
I know, I'm
Um,
excited.
so excited for that one. I'm intrigued by the Boyfriends of Christmas Past, being as though that looks ethically diverse as well. But I'm curious to see. I don't know if it's going to go in the direction of her actually choosing one of her old boyfriends or her best
Oh,
friend. So I'm curious
oh.
if they're going to the way that they do the movie. Is it going to keep me guessing, or am I going to know right off jump? Oh, she's going to choose her best friend. So that's one that I'm intrigued about. What about you? Are there any that you're looking forward to?
Um, I don't know. I'm looking forward to anything that Tyler's in. I really am. And I know that there is one that's going to be on Paul Green is in, and that looks really interesting. I love him, and I'm wondering if he's going to sing in it because he's trying to sing in everything, and that would be great because he's so cute about it.
Mhm.
So I'm looking. I don't even know what the title is of that. He just finished filming it, so I'm thinking it's going to come later. But I
Mhm.
love him. I find him like any Christmas movie he's ever been in. I've enjoyed, especially when he played with Candace. I love that one. I actually liked the secondary characters, Franks and Maxine, even way more than the main characters. I thought that was a cute movie.
Do you
But
remember the name of that? I haven't seen that movie yet.
yes, and it just went right out of my head as I'm talking to you about it. Oh, um, oh, I can't think of it. I do know it because I talk about it all the time with my friend Chip. It's like one of his favorites. And it's like, wow, why can't I think? Hello, friends out there. Do you know which one it is? Let us know in the chat because I went right out of my head the name of it. It's like the Christmas, like they're it I can't think of it now. I just cannot get it out of my head. All I can think of is crashing through the snow, and it surely is not crashing through the snow. I can't. But speaking of which, I love that movie. Would
I,
you?
ma'am, I think we had the same
Yeah,
sentiments. We see eye to
yes,
eye.
yes,
That movie surprised me.
yes.
My expectations were a little low when I saw the trailers, but when I watched the movie, I said, "Oh, we're cooking with grease now," as my uncle would
Mhm,
say.
mhm,
I said,
mhm.
"We're cooking with grease now." That movie was so good. The only like little thing that didn't work for me was her ex-husband's character, Jeff.
Yes,
I I don't know why they picked him. Like the casting, I think was a missed opportunity because he didn't have chemistry with his new girlfriend slash fiance, and I didn't believe him as the ex husband of Maggie.
yes,
So that
yes.
was the only thing that didn't work for me, but everything else was A plus for me.
Do you know they kind of wrote that in the script when they were sitting at the table
Mhm.
and Warren Christie's part, like his character says about how they met. So those two go off, like, Jeff and Amy's part. They go and say what they well, I'm saying her name is Amy, but it's really Maggie and Jeff in the
Mhm.
show. And here he didn't mean them, and they're talking about how they were BFFs and they were just friends. And I'm like, yeah, I can see that they were just friends. Like they did
Yeah.
that too much. Like
Yeah.
that was my only downfall. I mean, not my downfall, their downfall. But I think I do 5 hot chocolates for those, and I think I gave it 4 because another thing that I thought was interesting was a hot tub scene. Like, when do you have a hot tub scene in the middle of a Hallmark movie?
Yeah, I was nervous in all honesty. I'm like, okay, how far are they going to take this?
I
Like how
know.
much how what kind of risks are they going to take here?
It
So
was
I'm glad.
tasteful.
Yeah, it was tasteful and it was still friendly, pun intended. But
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was nervous when I saw that I'm like, oh, so we're actually going to do a scene
I know,
in the
I
hot tub.
I know,
Okay.
I know, I know. It was good. So we've got a whole bunch of questions here, Dara, that people are
Yes.
comments and things that people are saying. So let's see if we can move up and see what happened. Don't if you watch and stare and I'm moving fast, it might make you dizzy. Just different people making comments. Teresa, let's go all the way up because I've seen all kinds of goodies, all kinds of highs. Oh, someone's saying, who doesn't love Tyler? I know, right? And he has the cutest, his followers have a funny name. I think they're called Heinies, right?
Yeah.
What is that? That's funny.
Yeah, I call him Heinz 57 for the
Gotcha.
57 varieties of suave and swag that he
Oh,
brings
I
to
love
every
that.
role that he
Makes
does.
I love that. Margie says, "Love is a choice" was a theme throughout the past 3 seasons of When Calls the Heart. That is true. So you know how you were saying that they were talking about it's not, there's this one and only fate. It's
Mhm.
more about okay, and that's true. That she's right when that was like a theme in When Calls the Heart. So I guess maybe Hallmark is trying to, I don't know, not that it was a mistake that they said that, but sometimes you can get the wrong impression and everybody's watching these movies, even young girls and young
Mhm.
men are watching it. So I guess that's a message that they're try to put out there that's more realistic and authentic. I
Yeah,
mean, that's what I'm thinking.
and I
Yes.
don't watch When Calls the Heart, so that's good to know that they said that
Yeah.
in there.
Okay. And then it says that is a biblical tenet. So it is not new. Okay. And this is true.
Yep.
Margie Love, When Calls the Heart. That's Jill saying that. I used to think Hallmark meant, oh no, Tia. I used to think Hallmark meant white Christmas and white Christmas meant white people. It's so wonderful to see the diverse characters go from non existent to main characters. You know what? That is so true.
I agree.
Yes. And in the state of New Jersey, this is just a tidbit, all of the United States, every state had to adopt some type of curriculum that has to do with making an awareness for diversity in every. every way you can imagine, but an awareness. Nobody's reteaching anything. And each state could do their own or adopt whatever. We have one in New Jersey. And it's just a matter of, if I'm going to be showing a movie, the family could be just a mom and a son, or it could be a dad and his 3 girls, or it could be, interracial and their children. It's not everybody's family. It could be grandmom and a child. And you don't make a big deal about it. That's just what the book is like. So let's say you're reading a book, you're watching a movie, and it's about something totally different. It has nothing to do with that your family doesn't look like the typical family. And I like that. I said, because Hallmark got slammed in on Saturday Night Live. Did you ever see the skits that they would do on Saturday Night Live? They did these skits about, of the boyfriend and the ethnicity is always the same. They how Saturday Night Live is. Well, I'm sure if you all want to Google it, you can see it and you'll see what I mean. And I think they've come a long way with changing that up.
I do. I agree.
Margie says, I agree. We have a very blended family and they don't all look like White Christmas.
Is that the code word now?
I can't wait for Christmas. I'm sorry. I can't wait for Christmas in my heart. And Arlene loves Luke. Hallmark is showing different types of families now. Interracial, LGBTQ, divorced. I think it's about time. Does anybody remember? I always love this movie, and I can't. She's got red hair. She's a beautiful voice. I met her, and the name went right out of my head. I don't know. I think I'm tired tonight. Yes. And she was a single mom, and she lived in a little apartment. And it's so different than, most of them have these beautiful houses. And I'm like, they work part-time. What happened? So it was just, right?
Yes. I'm like, how can they afford a mansion on a freelancer salary? Like, I need the cheat code for that. I don't know how they do that.
So she was looking for a job, and she wound up playing Santa Claus. And yes, I love that movie because it's
I remember that movie too.
And that was back in, then. And I'm like, yay, I loved when they showed that. Oh, let's see. Hallmark is, okay. Hello, Roxanne. Hi, Beverly. And then people are saying hi to each other. And we live in a new climate, absolutely time for change. And then down here, people are saying how much they love Tyler. And the new SSD movie was excellent, Deborah Putnam. I don't know what that means. The new SSD movie.
Signed, Sealed, Delivered. Their new movie premiered last night. No, today's Tuesday, Sunday night.
Yes.
Yep.
It was good. Someone was saying they listened to Paul Green's podcast and just got done filming a Christmas. Yes, he did. Christmas CEO. That's Jill. That's right. That's what I was saying. He just finished. And I can't wait to see that one. That looks good. And Arlene says, I watched a lot of the older Hallmark Christmas movies on Friendly TV when they're available. November Christmas, Sam Elliott, I know. Silver Bells, that one is beautiful. And Teresa likes Christmas at Cartwright. I like that one.
I think that's the one with Alicia Witt in it.
Yes.
Christmas at the Cartwrights.
Yes, that's it. Yes. Thank you. I'm still trying to remember. I may have missed it in here. What the one is with? It's not Christmas CEO. That's new. The one I'm looking for is the one where he's with Candace and the characters of Maxine and Frank are in it, and it's something about Christmas layover, Christmas stopover. It's something like that because Christmas detour. Yay! We got it. Yay! All right. Okay, folks. I'm looking at all of your comments and seeing what's on here. I'm just so excited about. I cannot wait for the Christmas movies come out. One up here says Andrew Walker and Joy Lenz are absolutely adorable together.
Oh my gosh, they are my power couple. When I tell you, bottled with love is me. I am bottled with love for them and their Christmas movie. Now this is with the other network, Lifetime, but Snowden Christmas.
Yes.
That is a personal tradition. I rewatch that every year. Love that movie. They can do no wrong in my eyes, and I can't wait for them to be in another movie. Love them.
I get it. Like you love when they have good chemistry. I love that. So
Yes.
that's what I think happened with Amy Acker and Warren Christie. They had fantastic chemistry, but
Yes.
they're friends. And I'm not saying you have to have chemistry and be in love or have something going on. They're just friends, and there's that level of comfort, and they know how to like
Yes.
tease each other and carry on off camera, so they bring it on camera. And I think
Yes.
that's why they were so good together. That's just my opinion.
I
Yes,
also think, I'm sorry, I was just gonna say,
yeah,
I also think the writing, like making room for the writing to be believable between the two leads
yes.
adds a lot. Because sometimes while we may have two good actors, the writing and how they also direct them, I think also plays a big part. Because sometimes things can look a little bit awkward where they say something that it's like, wait, nobody would say that, or that's
Right,
not
right, right.
believable, something like that. So I think chemistry is like 95% of it, but I think definitely writing and directing plays a role in that too, to make us believe that they're into each other, you know?
Yes, and you know what
Mhm.
happened? This is what happened. What was it? Raise a Glass to Love. So
Yeah,
it was towards the end, and there was that very important part where she has to build her confidence because she's going to go and take the test to be the the master wine taste tester,
yeah,
and the real woman is there, and
yeah,
she's not an actress, but the way they wrote her dialogue and the way they directed it, you could tell that it didn't fit.
right.
And it took me right out of it. And I thought that was such an important part because she was supposed to boost her ego and give her some confidence. And all I could think about was that was terrible acting. Why did you do that? Right? Right?
Yes, I literally thought the same thing. I literally thought the same thing. You can tell she was kind of inserted into the
Yes.
movie because she was a real life master sommelier,
Yes.
and it came off a little bit awkward. But I that movie, that was another movie that surprised me. What did you think about? Like, did you have any expectations for that movie when you
I
saw?
thought I was going to love it because I immediately loved him when I saw him, but
Mhm.
I know a lot of people thought it was going to be like a dud, but I liked it because it was realistic. She arrives because it's her parents' 40th or 40-year anniversary. I think that's what it is.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
she's there. I get that. She's a very self-absorbed boyfriend. She's there to study. They bump in. The cute meet was fun. How they bumped into each other. So it was a little bit of mistaken identity, but I thought it was like so authentic. Her
yeah.
house looked appropriate, like her parents' estate, like it all matched. And I liked it. I was like sucked in. I felt like I was right there with them. And I know some people were like, no, they didn't have chemistry. I thought they had chemistry. I love when he cooked her dinner. I mean, I thought they were cute. I loved it. I loved it. Yeah.
That's so I this was one of the rare movies where I didn't mind if the romance was in it or not, because I was so into the plot of her building up her confidence
Yes.
and her
Yes.
passing that exam and becoming a
Yes.
master sommelier. All I
Yes.
cared about was that she dumped the scrub that was her ex-boyfriend and just passed the exam, because
He
that
was,
guy was a dud. He
I
was
mean,
such a he
he
was
was,
terrible.
and you know what's funny is that we felt that way, so that was good acting. He
Yes.
he brought it,
Yes.
and I'm like, oh, good, because there was not one ounce of me that liked him or felt bad.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
I know, which is all good acting when we can feel those
Yes.
feelings. So,
Yes.
do you have anything new coming up, or should we? What's your new, like your next review you think coming up that we can be on the
Oh,
lookout for?
so I just published on YouTube my review for the last fall harvest movie, and I'll use that in quotations again. The last fall harvest movie, Advice to Love By, starring Brooks Darnell and
Yes.
Aaron Westbrook. That's up on YouTube. And then this week, I am publishing a podcast episode every day leading up to Countdown to Christmas. So today, I just released an episode doing my least favorite Hallmark movies of this year, as well as my thoughts on the GAC Christmas preview special that I watched. And then tomorrow, I'm going to be publishing my review. I've also been watching Chesapeake Shores.
Mhm.
I'm kind of late to the shores, but I'm grateful I made it. So I'm on season 2. I'm ending season 2 with my review for episodes 9 and 10. That's going to be out tomorrow, and I'll have my first guest that I'll exclusively announce here. Jax, formerly from the Hallmark Bubbly Sesh podcast.
Yes.
She's going to be the first guest on my podcast, and she's going to teach me all I need to know about Hallmark mysteries, since I've just been enthrusted into the mystery world, and I'm getting my feet wet with the mysteries.
Yes.
I'm having her on. We're going to nerd out about mysteries. She's going to tell me about the ones that I should look out for, what they're about, what are the flagship ones.
Mystery 101. Mystery 101. It has to be. It's so good.
I already finished all of those.
Okay.
I'm obsessed. Like, Jill Wagner is my best friend, and Christopher Palauha is my cousin.
Love them.
It's just, that's kind of how I feel right now.
I hear you.
And I finished all of the Picture Perfect mysteries with Carlos Penavega and his wife Alexa Penavega.
Yes.
And then I want to watch Aurora Teagarden in order. So I just finished the 6th one, which I forget the title of it. Their titles are always so clever. But I think it was called Dead Over Heels, I believe. And I'm on the 7th Aurora. And I also just started I have to say Martha's Vineyard, because I feel like I want to be authentic with that. So Martha's Vineyard with Mr. Metcalf and Sarah Lind. I'm on the 3rd Martha's Vineyard mystery. So I'm really excited about that world.
Now, I read that series. I love that series. I love the author. He was a professor at Wheelock College, and up in Boston. And I love that series, but as a TV series, and I love him. I love Metcalf. I love him. He's great as the part, but the rest of it is driving me insane.
Why? Is it not authentic to the book?
No. And it's upsetting to me. And that's okay if it isn't, but there's certain things that I can't get into it. But that's okay. That's just my feelings about it. But I do adore him. Yeah.
I understand what you mean. I felt that same way about South Beach Love. I read the book before watching the movie, and then watching the movie, my head was hurting because of how much they changed from the book. Like, I'm talking characters' names, they changed plot lines. It was a lot that they changed, but I totally understand your sentiments with that. Yeah, now, absolutely.
When are you going to have your guest on? When is she coming on?
So that episode will be released on Thursday.
Okay. And because it's recorded, right? It's not live?
Right.
Okay. So I will make sure I'm tuning into all this. And I was going to say, and boys and girls, like I'm in my classroom, for the love of God here. and viewers, friends, hi everyone. If you are not subscribed to Dara's Dear Hallmark, you can subscribe on her YouTube channel. And how do they find you on your podcast? How do we find you that way?
Yeah, so my podcast, wherever your ear takes in podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, TuneIn, Podbean, Overcast. You can find me.
All right.
Yeah, you can find it on there. Or you can just follow me on Instagram, click the link in my bio, and it'll take you straight to where you can subscribe.
Well, you got it all linked up. I'm bad at that. I don't. I'm like willy-nilly, hit or miss, and I'll get there. It's just that this is so much fun for me. And I love that you say that you really don't have a schedule. You do it when it comes, like that means it's your passion. So I like, that's how I try to do it with my life is really full. So I do have to schedule things. Like I have like a notebook with who's coming, what day, that kind of thing. But then it becomes like a job. And then the passion for it goes away. And I love though that you have like, you're relaxed. No schedule, yet you wouldn't guess that. You would think that you really have a schedule and you plan out stuff. So that's inspiring to me when I hear that. And I'm terrible. That's why I don't have all my stuff hooked up, but I will eventually, I guess. It doesn't matter.
No, I will say for Christmas, because of how wild it is, I do have a schedule because I needed to wrap my head around how I was going to attack.
This is right. Like how many are out there that this year? Is it 40?
40. And I also polled my fellow Hallmark watchers, and they want me to review Lifetime Christmas movies as well. Okay. And Lifetime's coming out with their own 35. So I have 75 movies that I need to. So that's why I'm like, I need to have some. Now I said to myself, I was like, all right, Dara, now it's time to craft some type of schedule for something so that we can make it make sense.
Okay. All right. I love it. So thank you for sharing all of your promos of what's coming because it sounds really exciting. I'll be tuning in. I'm sure our viewers over here will. And I just wanted to say that tomorrow I have Deck the Hallmark.
Gotta love those guys.
They
One of my
crack me
favorite
up.
Hallmark podcasts. Love them.
And
They're my brothers in my head. As
they
you
have
can
a
see, I
new
have a
book.
lot of family.
I'm sorry, what happened?
I said, as you can see, I make a lot of people my family.
Yes,
in the
that's
Hallmark
okay.
universe.
That's okay. I love it. They have a new book out. So I'm
Yeah.
excited to see they're going to talk about it tomorrow. And it's at an odd time for me. It's at 3. So, but of course it'll also be recorded. So I'm excited. So you'll have to tune into that. And my student popped on, Ryan. He said late but here. Hi Ryan. We were just talking about our love of literature. You know how I feel about that, right, Ryan? He popped on. All righty. So I want to see if there's any more I think it's just comments. I started watching Mystery 101 and loved it, but I got behind after the first 2. How can I catch up? You know what? Beverly, are you asking that? Beverly, they will do after January. They'll have like a whole, weekend or marathon of it. Right, Dara? Don't you think? Because their new episode will be coming up soon.
They do. And also, if you have the Hallmark Movies Now subscription through Amazon Prime or Apple TV Plus, they have a few of the Mystery 101s on there. I did purchase one, and then they did a previous marathon a couple weeks ago, so I was able to DVR a couple of those episodes. But Hallmark Movies Now subscription is probably like $4 or $5 if you just want to get it for a month, just so that you can get those episodes in. You could do that.
Okay, that's good. Good advice. And Lifetime does have great Christmas movies, and a lot of Hallmark actors are on them. That's true.
Oh, yes.
Yes, yes. All right. This has been so much fun.
Yes.
Yes. All right. Good night, my friends. Make sure you tune in tomorrow if you can and check out the Deck the Hallmark and their new book. I'm excited. And then next week, oh my God, Barbara will be on next week. She is the costumer for One Calls the Heart. You don't know how excited I am to have her on. I'm very excited about that. All right. Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. This was so much fun.
You can stay on. We can chat for a quick minute. I'm going to say goodnight to everyone else. Everyone's saying bye.